almost there.
Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel, Massive Iron Live. It is Friday, October 14th. October 14th. Let me get some dog fur, some cooties off me. This is what happens when you do live stuff. You get like, I don't know, you get stuff all over the place from your dog. He's sitting right over there, buddy boy. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm here every Friday. Let me get settled in and look like I know what I'm doing, right? I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern. And I've been doing live, I don't know, buddy boys over there like, whoop, where are you? He's interested. I'm here. I've been doing this for like 3 years now. Just a heads up, if you're new here, don't be shy. Please post up a question. Post up as many questions as you want. That's what I'm here for. I look forward to these lives, and there's no dumb questions, no stupid questions. Just let it rip. If you have a question on diet, training, nutrition, supplementation, off topic, anything really, post it up. Last week, somebody got triggered that you asked a baseball question and somebody demanded that you stop wasting his time asking off-topic questions. So I encourage you to ask a lot of off-topic questions today because this is our channel. It's not his channel, and he can go fuck off. So that's basically the long and short end of the stick for the, what do you call a male Karen, right? I'm so out of touch. Just a couple notes. If your questions are not going through, it's not me. It is YouTube. YouTube is really awkward at times in allowing questions to go through. And you can put a question through on Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM and let me know, and I will answer your questions here on live. And you can also go in after live is done. If you're, what is he doing back there? You can also go through when live is done and head over to Instagram and send me a question. I answer every question. Some of them take me a little bit of time because I just get a massive amount of questions on DMs on Instagram, but I will get around to them. So how's everybody doing today? It's freezing. I had to turn the heat on. I got a heating vent right above me here, and sometimes it'll mess up my sinuses, so I'll try not to be too obnoxious. I tried to adjust the comment settings in YouTube to maybe not be as strict. So we'll see if that works, at all. So let me know what you guys are doing this weekend. You getting in trouble? Doing any lifting? Getting your Halloween decorations up? Watching Halloween? What Halloween? This year we've been trying to watch a scary movie almost every night, or as much as we can. And Peacock, right? Peacock, one of the online streaming channels, had a deal where you could get a year for $19.99. And you get to watch the new movie Halloween Ends. And, I'm like, another Halloween movie, right? But so we did the $19.99 Peacock for a year thing just to get that movie. And it was all right. We watched the first 40 minutes, and it was actually reasonably entertaining. You like the character. So if anybody's seen the last 40 minutes or last hour of the movie, don't spoil it. So, all right, guys, let's get going. Just a reminder, if you post up a question before 11 a.m. Eastern, before live actually starts, you get a chance to win a free hoodie or t-shirt or whatever. So let's dive in. Let's dive into the sexiness, the sauciness. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Thanks for tuning in. Now, Rico, how'd your birthday go? It's pretty damn low key, actually. I don't get, days off. Really, I mean, everything I do is 7 days a week. Saturday, I've been trying to take a day off, but I mean, rarely do you like mentally get a day where you can check out. So we did exciting things for my birthday. Like we went to Best Buy to return my computer that I bought there that puked. I decided to get a great computer, right? 3 months ago. I was going to get a computer that could handle graphics editing. I started digging into editing the documentary 96 Hours, put in a ton of work of that, and the computer just started going to crap. And we got our data, hopefully, because if I lose that whole 96 hours at it, it's going to be a really rough day for me. I'll have to go through and do it all again. But anyway, that's what I did yesterday. I went to Best Buy and got a refund of $1,723 on my Best Buy card. And then I went to a credit union. The banks are acting a little bit crazy lately, banks and PayPal and stuff. And I don't really, I don't like to get into politics, and I don't like to be a super paranoid type of guy, but we just decided let's just move our money to a credit union locally. That way we can walk down the street and beat up somebody, right? If there's a problem. So that's what I did for my birthday. And I got this $27 hoodie from the Badger site. That's it. Sad but true. What's going on, Stein? Welcome to the party. Yo, massive folks. Hope you had a great birthday. Thank you. I might look 55, but I don't feel 55. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? What's the biggest goal you want to achieve in the next 5 years? A great question. I mean, I have physical goals. I want to be, I just turned 55 yesterday, and I want to be able to run a 50K, just wake up. Let's do a 50K tomorrow. That's the kind of shape I was in. And the last year and a half, we've kind of haven't run as much. We're running, but we're not running nearly what we were. We're active, not running at nearly what we were. And really, I want to focus on building a community. I want to focus on getting my content centralized. I'm doing that now as we speak. And I really want to get all my content up and really focus on organizing my content for anyone that is interested, because whether you think I'm an idiot or you like my content or whatever it is, I've put a lot of work into it over the years. On the new Team Massive site, I think I have close to, 250 or 260 articles up already. And that's going to grow to well over 500. Some of the crap articles that I wrote over the years that I was forced to write, like on tea tree oil and stuff like that, I'm not going to put up there because it bores the crap out of me. I'm only putting lifting stuff up, but I really want to get all my content centralized, and I really want to start writing an opus of a book, just everything I believe to be true of in training right now, because I wrote Massive Iron back, 8 or 9 years ago. And it still provides a lot of good information. But, since then, the experience I've had in the last 10 years, especially with coaching, have really evolved things. And, when I was with Tiger Fitness, when I was with Muscle and Strength, it was kind of in I hate to say the word infancy, but I couldn't always say what I wanted to on social media. To a degree, they were watching, and I was representatives of these companies in some way, shape, or form. And I couldn't always speak my mind, as much as I wanted to. So that's what happens in the social media era. But I want to get all my content up, and I want to get access to it for those that actually give a rip. And to get a little political, who's your favorite holiday drink? Eggnog, no way. Spice cider, no way. Mulled wine, no way. None of them. You know what? I'd rather chop off a finger than be forced to drink that stuff every day. No offense to anybody that likes it, but yeah, I don't even. I'm a beer guy, so. Nicholas, can you explain different types of progressive overload besides adding weight and reps? Well, the cornerstone of what I do is really it's trying to improve over last time. There's other forms of progressive overload. You can add volume. You can reduce rest in between sets. You can add intensity techniques. That's overloading. Like if you just did pec deck for a set last week, and then you do like a run the rack or run the stack, that is a form of progressive overload. So you can add volume, you can reduce time between sets, you can increase intensity. There's a lot of things you can do to overload compared to last time, or think of overload as making things harder. But the only thing that is sustainable, the only additions that are sustainable is chasing. Like if you got everything in the groove and you're working those sets hard, you're controlling the weight, you're getting everything you can out of a set, right? And whatever you want to do, add volume and drop sets, or you do rest pause, reduce rest in between sets, that's fine. But you're going to settle in where you can't progressively overload that anymore. That hits a hard wall. So everything eventually comes back to adding a rep. So if you have everything perfect in your workout, where do you go from there? The body is adapted. Let's say the body is locked and loaded. Where do you go from there? Well, the only place to go when you're at a perfect set and a perfect routine is to progressively overload, try to improve on adding another rep. So, I mean, you can't continue to add volume. What are you going to do? 50 sets per day? Is that really realistic? Or there's going to be one oddball out there who says, I'm going to do it. He's going to grab his big testicles and he's going to do it, right? That's great. But for the rest of us with a life and a wife and kids and a house and college and all that kind of stuff, we all have something, right? For the rest of us, we don't have time to experiment with 50 sets per training day. It would absolutely kill me. I'd have a mental breakdown. I'd have a physical breakdown. And there's only so far, so much you can do with rest pause. I've pushed the limit on rest pause programs, and they work really, really well. I believe rest pause is an underrated method of training for hypertrophy, because I believe you get a greater rep quality with rest pause, but it is intense and it's not something you necessarily need to use every single time. All right, guys, if you're new here, post up your questions now. Post them up now. Flood those questions off topic. Welcome. If you want to trigger the guy from last week that got pissed that we talked about baseball for a minute, please post up your baseball questions. I'm a big baseball fan. And I won't be apologetic over that. I love baseball. Are you against any gym machines that Fitness Bro demonize? I'm not really against any tool. Like, we can't, just with exercises, we can't say you should or shouldn't do all exercises to failure. The demands of every exercise is different. This is something I teach on this channel. And with that said, when you look at a piece of equipment that is flexible, like the Smith machine, there are good exercises and there are bad exercises. Now, some exercises feel good for specific individuals and some feel bad for other individuals. I used to be very much against the Smith machine because it is a fixed plane. And I believe there are some downsides as you get really, really strong on the Smith. You really have to, I think you have to pay more attention to form than you would even on a barbell, because it's a fixed position. You really have to listen to your body. There are some exercises I don't really like a Smith machine overhead press, a seated press, because of that fixed position. I think you need some fluidity, some ability for the barbell or the dumbbell to move a little bit front and back. And, if you're going to jump into something like that, I'm not saying you can't do that exercise, but you really should take your time and build and slowly and get used to the exercise. Don't rush into it. So I don't demonize anything. What I demonize is inconsistency. I demonize overthinking. I demonize the tendency in this industry to create random rules based on, stuff. So, for example, if I can just talk for a moment, and I'm not going to go super crazy on this, but if I can just talk for a moment, My good friend Fazlif's made a video about deloading, and I've been getting questions. And it's really easy for someone to make a video and then for it to be misinterpreted. And that's why discussions, lifting discussions, are so very, very important. We need to kind of understand the nuance. Like Faz made a video about deloading, and now all of a sudden everybody thinks they need to deload frequently. Well, no, I'm very much against that because I'm not against what he's saying, but herein lies the nuance. Most of us need to get our training in order first, right? Like for a guy like Faz or a guy like myself that was really rocking, and I'm not trying to elevate myself into some, lifting god, but once you get your training really in that groove and you're going strong and you're consistent, and you're adding weight and you're getting a lot stronger and you are building a lot more muscle, one thing I teach is listening to your body, right? So Faz, he talked to Dan John and whatever he was deloading every third week. I'm not against that sort of stuff. I'm not against it at all. What I am against is when we take that information and misapply it. And then as someone like, let's say there's 20% of you that just admit I'm not consistent, right? I'm not consistent. My nutrition sucks. I'm not pushing for progressive overload. I look for excuses, but I'm going to all of a sudden deload every 3 weeks or 4 weeks because of something fasted. Like, no, you need to get your act together first and start building muscle and building strength and building consistency and getting your sleep down and nailing your nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And then you can start to listen to your body in the process. You can't listen to your body if you don't have all the variables pegged out, right? You have to peg out the variables. We have to nail our nutrition. We have to nail our sleep. We have to nail our workouts. We have to nail our consistency. We have to nail our exercise form. Yeah, you might need frequent deloads because your squat form is doo-doo, right? But that doesn't, you know, you need to work on your squat form. We need to peg all these variables. And only when the variables are pegged or rocking or where they should be can we start to truly listen to what our body is telling us. Like, I think I have a weakness, right? I think I have a weakness. I think this body part is lagging or that body part is lagging, or I think I need to deload. I'm constantly getting injured or whatever. There's a lot of things we need to look at. But unless you peg all the variables, you're not really you're not going to be able to accurately listen to your body. I got a secret thing hiding over here. I have a Halloween, we have a Halloween party this Sunday. So what do we got next? Let's see. Paul says, let me in. Can you guys even hear me now? Do I look kind of, I don't know. We went to Spirit, and I was looking for kind of a scary mask. So, hey, all right, Paul, where would you put deadlifts on your 3-day upper, lower, upper? So that's a good question. I made a video this week, and I released it accidentally, and then I pulled it back because I didn't mean to release it, and then I re-released it, and YouTube doesn't notify people the second time. So it's kind of, if you look in my videos, there's a video about reworking an upper lower that actually no one saw. Right? It's just a boo-boo on mine, but basically, if you're going to work deadlifts in, I would probably do it on the middle day somewhere, like with legs and arms. You could do deadlifts, and you'd have to really be smart about how you approach things. So probably in the middle. I tend to like to, in that case, we'll have upper body. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking a upper lower, and we're turning it into a 3-day split for people that don't have a lot of time. So basically, it's upper chest, shoulders, back, You have 2 upper days, chest, shoulders, back. So that's a lot of work, but you got 2 days. So you get to split up the volume a little bit. And then the middle day is like a limbs. You get arms and legs. So I would probably try to squeeze that in. You might have deadlifts and squats in the mix on the same day, and that might suck. But then you get to move on to a little bit lighter work, So that's one possibility. You could certainly move deadlifts to a Friday. That would work as well. I would probably you'd keep squats in the middle, your leg days in the middle. You don't want a lot of leg fatigue. If you're going to do a leg dominant day on this type of program, your legs are probably going to be sore. And if you do it like on a Wednesday and you have sore legs on Wednesday, you might be able to deadlift on a Friday. You might want to deadlift on the Monday though. So I would either squat or deadlift on the same day in the middle, or I would deadlift on a Monday. Scotty, some of my exercises today involve 5 sets of 11 reps. That adds up to a number you are familiar with. Yeah, thanks. 55. It took me a minute to figure that out, but thank you. I turned 55 yesterday for anybody trying to figure out what he's referencing. So thank you. And I appreciate your support. Scott is one of my big supporters, and man, I can't thank you enough. I'm an older guy in a young man's game, but to have I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's just put it that way. All right, guys, we're rolling along on questions. Keep them coming. If you're new here, don't be shy. Post up your question. I'd love to help. And I promise I won't put on the demon mask again unless you want me to. 3 days, Grace. How to balance electrolytes if I have more salt or sweat? Well, the first thing you want to being aware of your electrolytes is a good thing, especially if you're training hard or you're sweating a lot or you're training in heat, because it's not talked about enough. But when you are salt depleted or sodium depleted or even electrolyte depleted, but I find more so for my time in running that a lot more of it is dependent on sodium depletion. That it can really zap your energy. So as lifters, we really need to focus on sodium and potassium. Now, potassium you can get, from tomatoes and mushrooms, and you can search potassium foods, right? And make sure you're eating a couple heavy potassium foods a week. Just find something from the list. There's a lot of good foods. Let me just pull that up real quick. Potassium foods. Let me see what I can get here. There's an article. What's high in potassium? Dried fruits, raisins, beans. Okay, black beans, potatoes, spinach, broccoli, avocados, bananas, oranges, tomatoes, yogurt, cashews, chicken, salmon. A lot of stuff we like is high in potassium. So you want to make sure you get in your potassium. But sodium, you don't want to shy away from sodium. Sodium is not the demon. It's not the devil. It's misinterpreted by a lot in the outside of the health and fitness community, and inside of the health and fitness community as well. But you need sodium, and I find when I'm running for a long period of time, when I start to feel flat, a lot of that can be cured by sodium. So if you are exercising and you start to feel flat, you probably should have had sodium or simple carbs probably 30 minutes ago. Okay. So a lot of this comes down to timing. If you tend to sweat a lot during a workout, you probably want a meal an hour and a half to 2 hours before with some complex carbs and some form of sodium in it, just to kind of, I hate to say micro load, but load a little bit, right? What's your opinion on working out while fasted? I did this for a long, long time. I tend to work out now, I don't eat a lot during the day. So I would hesitate to say I am fasted, but I certainly don't go into my workouts with a big meal in my stomach. Not at all. So definitely not fasted, but I find there's no issues. A lot of people will try this and they'll be like, I felt like crap. I felt like crap. You probably did, but you probably need to give it a month, right? You probably need to give it some time for things to equalize or normalize. So I didn't find issues. I actually did this while I was at my strongest. I did have coffee and whey, a couple of shakes a day, but I didn't. It's not strict fasting, so don't come at me. I'm aware of that, right? But there are degrees of being underfed, and let's just say I would work out, severely underfed, and I didn't have any issues. I'm not saying you need to do it. I'm just saying if you want to do it, you can do it. You just kind of have to be patient a little bit. And Paul said a male Karen is Kevin, and Kevin said, "Let's go with God, please." That's funny. So we won't go with male Karen as Kevin because Kevin says, "Let's go with Kyle." That makes sense. Blaine, looking forward to this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. And honestly, each Friday, I wish I had more questions. I always wish I had more. The more, the better. Big Bob from Georgia. Love the 5 rules and principles to build a big back. Thank you. I want that wide and thick back. The biggest advice I can give people is strap up. Don't allow your grip to derail your focus or derail your strength or give you elbow tendonitis. Really focus on the horizontal rowing, dumbbell rows, barbell rows, pendlay rows, seated cable rows, T-bar rows. Just attack those. Attack your deadlifts. Yeah, get in your pull-ups, get in your lat pull-downs. Those lifts are good, but they're harder to progress on. They're a little bit more frustrating. They're going to be slow progressors. So because we can train with more volume on the back, it's probably a better idea to add in a little bit more horizontal rowing. I'm not saying you can't add in more pull-ups. You certainly can. But just really attack those rows. Lance, direct ab training, yes or no? Some. I mean, we got degrees here, okay? It's helpful to have a base degree of core strength. Like these days I do shoulder tap planks. So instead of just doing a plank and counting to 60 or 120 and boring yourself to death, I do a shoulder tap. So you can do 1, 2. So you're in a plank position, 3, 4. So you get to count reps. So it makes time go by more quickly. Ab wheel rollouts. Once you develop pretty good proficiency with ab wheel rollouts and a plank, you're pretty much okay, in my opinion, for squats and deadlifts and other big compound movements. This doesn't mean you can't add in other direct ab work, but you really want to find things that are progressively overloaded. We don't talk about this enough in the lifting community, but we want to do things that we can challenge our abs with, like cable crunches are a good one. I used to do decline sit-ups. Whatever your bag is, right? Whatever your bag is, man. Whatever your bag is, just go with it. But yeah, if you do it, make sure it's some kind of progressive overload. All right, let me get a drink. I'm right below the heater. It's blowing right on me, and it's just drying out my stuff. What's your favorite Halloween candy? That's an easy one. And you guys are not going to expect this at all. You're not going to expect this. Google wants to know where you live. Google cannot know where Google probably already knows. All right. I'm going to pull this up. So hold on. Hold on there, freaks. Hold on, freaks. Hold on, freaky people. I think I can actually, oops. I was going to upload the file, but it's where are you at? There we are. All right, I think I got the image. So hold on. I probably just chased half of you away. We're going to upload the image. Slides, your computer, show all files. Nope. Present. Where do I just upload something? All right, that's not working. It's a Fifth Avenue candy bar. It's a Fifth Avenue candy bar, and that's my absolute favorite. If you haven't tried the Fifth Avenue candy bar, it's super underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it, and it's absolutely my favorite. I'm not a big candy bar guy, right? But the Fifth Avenue candy bar has a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of crunch, and you can find a Big Mama Jamma sometimes in the store, like the king size. And I think it's a super underrated candy bar. I hate candy bars in general, but I will crush a Fifth Avenue. And bonus question time, okay? The first one to get this right is going to get a t-shirt, an extra t-shirt or hoodie. And I'm going to say who won the t-shirt and hoodie today, but I'm about to give you a bonus round. If you can tell me the space movie that features the Fifth Avenue candy bar prominently in it, and I'm a space nerd, now the first person to list that, and you're probably Googling it right now, get your Google fingers ready, is going to get a t-shirt or hoodie. All right, and before I move on and pick the t-shirt and hoodie winner, we got a lot of guys on right now, 69 people. If you're new here, please post up a question, say hello. Don't be intimidated by my ugly face. So let's pick a winner. Let's pick a winner. Let's pick a winner. Who should I give something? I'm going to give Lance Morrison a shirt or a hoodie. So Lance, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM on Instagram at Ben the Barman, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Lance got in right at 11. Kevin Krause, or Kraus, depending on where you're from. Big, hairy, ugly dude. I think I strained something in my left side under my waistline doing heavy leg extensions last Friday. Sounds like one of those random tweaks, twirls, swirls, crunches, nibbles, niggles, swiggles, whatever. Don't want to trigger you guys when I say niggle. It's niggle. It's a niggle. That's what runners call injuries. Relax. Last Friday, I think I just got canceled. Get a burning sensation every time I lift. That's not good. When will it heal? No idea. Little things like that are all part of the process. You're going to pick up strains and pains and tweaks and twerks and all kinds of stuff. It's impossible to say. Every incident is completely different. Every incident is completely different. So you just want to listen to your body. If it, whenever with an injury, you want to make sure when you feel like it's okay, right? When you feel like it's okay, when you feel like that injury is absolutely fine, assume it's not and give it a little bit more time. Just assume it's not okay. When it feels okay, you got to kind of ease into things and just take your time. I can't tell you when it's going to heal. Just kind of go easy. It's really easy to get frustrated with injuries, tweaks and twerks and strains and pains. It's really easy to get frustrated, but they're part of the process, and injury management is part of the process. So all I can say is just listen to your body and give it as much time. Is 40 too old to start lifting? No, I didn't even hit my peak till about 40. Absolutely not. No. Male Karens are often Kevin or Kyle. Christos, about 10 pounds down in 20 days doing the lean and mean. Heart rate has dropped by 10 beats in this time. That's good. The lean and mean challenge, for anybody that's curious, you can head over to my website and search lean or search mean. And it's a free challenge if you want to give it a try. Basically focuses on lean protein and plant-based foods. Basically animal-based and plant-based, but we're kind of going leaner when it comes to the animal types of foods, just because it's easier for food balance, and it allows for more food volume, that sort of thing. Lance, do you have any PDFs for older guys? My dad is late 60s. It's hard. This is very specific. The problem with this, Lance, is like once you become seasoned, as an individual, you have a whole history of war wounds, so to speak. You just have issues. And a lot of times, we need to kind of personalize things. For older guys, they need to start with dumbbells and machines. And then if they have an interest in barbells, they need to work on barbells in the periphery. They don't aggressively attack compound movements right out of the gate. We need to get form. We need to assess how the exercise is treating our body. And we need to understand that this is not a game about maximum mass and strength as much as it is a game about strengthening the body and feeling more fit and more active. So, somebody in their late 60s came and said, I want to be a power lifter, and I've never lifted before. I'd be like, slow down, Charlie Brown. We need a year of coaching. We need to try some things, to do some assessments, to see what your capabilities are, that sort of thing. So, Lance, all I can really say is I'd be glad to help him. Maybe you could get him coaching for Christmas. Coaching doesn't really work when guys don't know me. It's better off for someone to be coached by me that knows me. But basically, long story short, he should probably start with dumbbells and machines, see what he likes and doesn't in that world, and kind of build out from there. Sebastian, thoughts on Zercher deadlifts bore me to death. They're an okay exercise, but in the food chain, trying to, you only have a limited number of exercises you can do a week, right? So I see some of you guys posted the answer to the Fifth Avenue question. I'll get to that. But you only have a limited number of exercises per week, and you have kind of a food chain. Now, I've done Zerchers before, and I'm not against them. You could work them into a program, and they're probably best worked in to like a posterior focused workout every other session rather than every session. And they're probably an okay, assistance exercise for the deadlift. You could work it in. Very lower back intense. Tends to be very intense in general. It's not a bad movement, but I really think you need to get your deadlift form squared away and your squat form squared away and get to intermediate strength levels before you start messing with the Zercher. Scott, my next meal from your cookbook is a steelhead trout. Man, that is one of my favorite. That's my favorite fish. You can take steelhead trout and rice, and all you need is a little salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of soy. You could take some tomatoes, okay? Dice your tomatoes. Just put them on a saucepan and heat them up a little bit. They get a little bit saucy, you know what I'm saying? And that can top well over the steelhead trout as well. But all you need for a good time is steelhead trout, rice, salt, pepper, a little bit of soy, and you can toss in. Sometimes I would toss in mushrooms, buttered mushrooms, sometimes a little bit of baby bok choy, to get some of that sweet micronutrients from those plants. Matthew Whitaker, like for overhead pressing or incline pressing. I think we missed the first half of your question, Matthew. So maybe you could post it up again because that's all I got. Larry, who are you thinking is winning the World Series? I don't know, Larry. Good question. So we're going to tick off anybody watching that hates baseball. But I don't think it's going to be Yankeeroos. And I like I'm kind of rooting for Cleveland. Cleveland's an Ohio team, and my Brewers are out of it, so I'm kind of rooting for Cleveland. Cleveland's a fun team, but I don't think the Yanks or Cleveland are going to get in. I think it's going to be the Astros. And I think the Astros are going to play – if the Dodgers escape, you got like the Dodgers in Atlanta. It's going to be the Dodgers in Atlanta against Houston. And Houston's kind of one of those workman stealth teams. They've just been getting it done all year. They've had some rough spots, but I'm kind of saying Houston's going to win. Mike, how's it going? Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. And Stan, how's it going? I think my lower back comes from weak muscles. Any tips to get the lower back going? Just lifts that aggravate the lower back or put a lot of intensity or focus on the lower back. Just give them time and space. Don't overwork them. Dumbbell rows, barbell row, or I should say pendlay rows or barbell rows, deadlifts, RDLs. Those are very lower back intense movements. Just give them some time. Don't deadlift off the floor every week. Maybe every other week. Maybe rotate pendlay and dumbbell rows every other week and don't do a lot of volume. And that's really about it. Just kind of minimize the heavy hitters on the lower back. Scott, is it the same in the fitness industry as in other industries? When you work for an employer and don't go with the party line, you can make enemies. I will say this. The problem I had in working in the industry, like I ended up working I started a website called Muscle and Brawn, and I started building that forum and writing for Muscle and Brawn, my own website. And I got hired to do that for other websites. So I was already on YouTube. I already had a presence, a small presence, but I had a presence. And when you already have something going on, let's say you have a following in your niche, okay? Like one of my favorite channels is Beard Meets Food. The bearded guy that does the food challenges. Love the guy, great guy. He looks like a nice guy in real life. I like supporting him, and he puts out good, concise content. So if he got hired like by the Food Network, you think they wouldn't be having an eyeball on his channel? Well, he's a good guy, right? So it's probably pretty clean and mean and not an issue. But if you already have an established, I hate to say brand because I'm not doing this to be a brand, but it can be harder when you get hired. So there were times when I would post something on my private social media. A couple times I got pulled into the office by the CEO of the company. At one time, they wanted control over my social media. At times, they felt like I wasn't posting sales enough on my personal social media, like supplement sales, right? And then other employees would, bite that worm on that hook, and he's not posting enough sales on his social media. He's not a company guy. Well, you know what? If you look at the tags for the companies I used to work with on Instagram, at least half the content is me. I pushed and pushed, and I did my part for the company to support them. It can be crazy. I've had employers try to tell me what I can post. I've had them ask for control of my social media. Like, no, I would walk before anybody gets control of my life. And I did. I'm in lower back pain. Kevin, snowing up in Scotty today. Anybody that doesn't know what Scotty is, that's Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin, where I'm from. I live in Ohio. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. It's freaking October and here comes the winter, right? Yay. Abraham, what's your opinion on 1 second contraction, 2 second hold? Nah. You want control over the eccentric, but counting, it's way overbaked. Holds, nah. Holding, don't do the time under tension thing. Do the quality rep thing. The biggest problem people have is like when they're doing a lat pull down, they're like, they don't control it. I'm not after time under tension, but I'm after a quality rep, a quality set, and that's all part of it. So think in terms not of time under tension, but of a quality rep set. Vinny P. Hope you had a great birthday, Vinny. It's always good to see that sexy beard and all that mass. Finally feeling like I can walk again. Up like 8 pounds. Is that out of control? Well, most of it's going to be water, Vinny. And if you just kind of regulate things a little bit, you're going to have a lot of water flush, especially being a big guy. So you're probably going to end up holding on to three pounds of that, but the longer you regulate, the more it'll kind of tame itself. Big Paul, did Tom Brady make a mistake not retiring and losing his family? No. I don't know. I don't know enough about Tom Brady, but that's his career. And a career is a career. Like, I'm not saying we should put everything in. I don't know his ins and outs, so I'm not going to judge the guy, right? But when you are like Jesus level at your sport and you've worked your ass off and you're already like down the road, it's if you haven't figured out your family life, if you haven't figured out how to regulate things or how to keep things in a good flow, it's not staying another season. That's the issue. Does that make sense? Like for me, being on YouTube, there's adjustments. It sounds silly, but there's adjustments you have to make. Like your phone's constantly getting blown up. Rando weirdos will try to find your ex-wife and try to find your. I've had people spam my mom. People will disagree on lifting things, and I've had them hunt down my family members. I've had them call my kids. So what I'm saying is there's adjustments you need to make, in whatever you're doing, especially for somebody like Tom that's super busy. So if his family imploded, I don't know the ins and outs. I know they're kind of going through a divorce or whatever. It's not that he stayed an extra season. It's probably that some things were broken and they were just trying to hold them together. Paul X, hit that like button. Thank you. Big Mike, is getting consistent muscle strains in various parts of your body a sign that it's going too hard? There can be a lot of things going on, Mike. Is your nutrition consistent enough where you're gaining weight? Because if you keep pushing and pushing, and Mike, I'm not looking at your stuff, so I'm saying this in a general sense for people that are watching, because this is a more general question. Is your nutrition consistent? If you're pushing hard and your nutrition and your weight's just staying the same, you're putting yourself in a semi-deficit when it comes to recovery. So you really need to, people need to take their nutrition seriously. Some of it can be, maybe we need to adjust the pacing of your workout. Maybe you're training too often. Maybe we need to adjust the workout selection. Maybe we need to look at form. So, Mike, if you have a specific issue, let me know, and we can kind of comb through it. But some people are stubborn. They don't want to take an extra rest day. Some people like to train too much. I've never trained more than 4 days a week, really, other than about a 1 year period of time where I tried to train more. Josh Megaroids, I think it all depends on lifting style as to whether deloads are necessary. For bro splits, I don't feel I need deloads, neither do I. That's one reason why I like bro splits. And, that's a really good point. I'm not trying to beat the old rumpa-pum-pum on bro splits, right? Not trying to beat the drum, but that's a really good point. Guys like Faz and frequency guys, they're at it. Me, I get a week of rest in between body parts. I've never felt like I needed deloads. So that's a really interesting point to consider. And wow, I was able to post a long comment. MG254, would it be wise to add a light leg exercise after every other workout geared up for the actual leg day? I'm not sure what gearing up would do. All we need to look at is weekly volume, weekly quality volume. And you can add that in wherever you want, wherever it makes sense. Soy sauce nanner. Why do older folks do weird stuff in the gym, like hang upside down on the Smith machine and hog the abductor muscles? Because basically old people, they have a bag of fucks that they started out with at 18 years old. And over time, the bag of fucks emptied out slowly. But here's the issue. You have certain older people with an empty bag of fucks, but they're also a little bit empty up here. They haven't been the brightest bulb in the course of their life, right? So you have a little bit like their head's like, either it's like Swiss cheese where things are going, in one ear out the other, or it's a little bit dense. Like we all got a degree of density up here, right? We all got a degree of Swiss cheese, right? But sometimes when you get these older people and their bag of fucks are empty and they got some Swiss cheese going on upstairs, it's like, I don't know. You know what? Along these lines, what baffles me is, speaking of Scotty, Wisconsin, whenever I go home, there's a gym that I train at, in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. It's a good gym. And, you can get a day pass and all that kind of, stuff. But you walk into the locker room and there's always like 5 swinging dicks. There's always like at least 5 guys over the age of 60 or 65 with their dicks just swinging around. They're walking around like I don't know what they're doing. Like, why you keep walking around? What are you doing? Like, are there steps you need to take before you exit the locker room? Is there like a 72-step protocol you're following? Don't you just get dressed and leave when you're done? I mean, you're 65. You're going to die soon. Isn't there any urgency? Right? I mean, I'm 55. I feel urgent. I don't want to do 72 steps in the men's locker room when I'm done lifting. I grab my gym bag, I go to my car. That's what I do. I don't walk around the locker room with my swinging dick hanging out for like a half an hour. But this gym, I kid you not, you cannot go to this gym without like swinging dicks everywhere. Like you sit down, to tie your shoe or do the thing and whatever, and out of the corner of your eye, there's like a swinging dick. Like I can't look right. And out of the corner of your eye, there's a swinging dick walking by down the thing. And you're like, what are y'all doing in here? Because I like see 5 swinging dicks in the locker room and like none of y'all out working out. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on. I'm not judging. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of sex party going on. All right. 80 big. Some of us older guys in a young men's game with you, bro. Yeah, the key is to keep that young attitude. Paladin, how do you know if you're doing too much volume? Well, there's a lot of layers to this question. There really is. How do you know? Well, the first thing we want to do is, are you pushing at least 1 set for every exercise for max quality reps? So let's say you're doing 3 sets of 10 on curls. Okay, you do 10. Is at least 1 set, are you pushing it to the limit? Are you trying to progress? And we're not just doing progression for progression's sake, but are you pushing that set harder, trying to do more reps than last time? So if you're doing that, then you're probably okay on volume. If you're not doing that on any sets, then it's a little bit useless volume. Too much volume. If you're working hard in the gym and you're pushing at least 1 set per exercise to the limit, then you shouldn't be able to do a lot of volume. So if you're getting injured, you might be doing too much volume. There can definitely be too much junk volume. One way you know for certain that you're one way you can know for certain if you're doing too much volume is hire me as a coach. And there's my sales pitch for today. You can head over to superlivingtoday.com, hit the coaching tab, and sign up for coaching. It's only $80 a month. Eric, top 3 muscle building winter recipes: stews, soups, roasts. Got to be chili. We got a chili cook-off contest this weekend, which reminds me, I ought to get my shit together on that. Winter. Man, I don't have a lot of winter. It's probably chili. Chili's the only thing I would say. That's probably it, really, for me. Blaine, I can't tell if my question went through. Posted it twice. You flood the chat away, man. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Shan, Garg, is it okay to treat Smith machine as my main chest movement? It can be. And then incline dumbbell. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. that would be okay because you got two decent exercises in the mix. I would have no problem with that. There was a point in time for like a year and a half when I only had access to a Smith machine. The gym I was at didn't have a bench station, and I could squat and I could bench in the squat rack, but the squat catches were so high on the side that you couldn't bench because you'd end up like 8 inches above your chest. Sounds silly, but that's just kind of way it worked. Art of Sync. Opinion on HIIT single set for guys over 50. Not really a fan of it. The biggest thing with HIIT is you're doing one set to failure. Not a big fan of that. There are better ways. And I don't like the failure equation. I think you can handle a little bit more volume than that, you know. And I think I think you can handle more volume than that. B, it's more about exercise selection. You know, what exercises work for you. And C, I don't like training to failure as a blanket for all exercises. Vicious. When I squat, I feel the bar unleveled. My back feels straight and no discomfort. I've seen some Olympic lifters that appear to lift unleveled. I have to understand a little bit what you mean. Is it uneven on your back? Are you twisting in the hole? One thing I would say, I don't know. One thing I would say, just as general advice to any of you, is when you are standing up in the squat, while you sink, think about driving your butthole straight down to the ground. That mental cue. We're going to center our butthole. We're going to talk about buttholes for a while, so don't panic. You know, don't turn the volume down, put your earphones in so the wife can't hear you talking with me about buttholes, right? A little bit scandalous. But you're going to try to drive your butthole straight down to the ground. If you do that, it kind of helps you try to stay centered. A lot of times you see guys that'll shift a little bit. And some of that can be due to your knee angle or foot angle. So you want to make sure you check your foot angle and make sure they're even. Before you squat, you want to briefly look down, check your foot angle, make sure they're even. And then from there, think about driving your butthole straight down. That'll help prevent a little hip shift. I really like Smith machine bench press. No problem. As long as you're getting in a lot of quality, as long as the big picture makes sense. Clo Kill. Don't feel pull-ups and back. Does mind muscle connection matter for all? No. Here's the thing that I would teach you guys. On compound movements, that are big, beefy, difficult movements, pull-ups, pendlay rows, bench press, dumbbell bench, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, whatever. Focus on form and getting stronger. Okay? On more isolation style movements, like no lift is perfectly in isolation, but more isolation style movements, then you focus on feeling the muscle with progression. Because if you try to turn a bench press into a chest feely, you're going to adjust form to feel the chest. And when you're dealing with a lot of heavier weight, that can put a lot of unwanted strains and pains and stress on your joints. On your squats, if you try to adjust your squat so you just feel your quads, you're going to indirectly change your form. And this is going to end up placing weird stress on your joints or on your lower back or whatever. So on a compound movement, here's the rule. On a compound movement, focus on form and progression. On an isolation style movement, focus on feel and progression. Now, you're going to panic. I can't feel my quads on. Forget how you feel. I can't feel my quads on squats, but they grow like a weed. Sometimes what you feel is a case of what is a weakness in the equation. Excuse me. So, just because you can't feel a muscle working in a compound doesn't mean it's not working. That's bad logic. That's horrible thinking. If you can't feel your quads on a squat, for example, and you think they're not working, you're absolutely wrong. Those quads are working hard. That's a big muscle group. You take those out of the equation, you're going to fold like a lawn chair. They are working. Just trust the process. All right, guys, we are an hour in. Keep the questions coming. We're rocking this week, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Please head over to Instagram. Follow me at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM if you have any questions throughout the week. I'm here to help. I answer every question for free. And if you want, you can head over here, join Team Massive Iron, and great group. This year is going to be all about community for me. Community. Like, some of these people are chasing brands and some of these people are chasing following. I want to build a fucking team. I want to build a community. I want to build a bunch of lifters who want to get big and want to get strong and want to get in great shape. And if you're on board with that and you're like, fuck Facebook and fuck all this canceling and fuck all this nonsense, and you just want to be a group, a group of guys that analyze things fairly. Like, we're not pro-science, we're not anti-science, we're not pro this, we're not pro that. We just get together and discuss lifting and like lifting and respect each other. Then just follow along on his channel and follow along on Team Massive. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'll stay on as long as possible. Can you answer questions I left in Dick Sword? I have no idea what you're talking about. Right now, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm absolutely missing something, but that right there, I'd get checked for a fever. I'd get checked to see if you have a fever. Do you have a fever? A little bit delirious? Or maybe take something like a couple of aspirin and call Teledoc. Sorry, Aberrant, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. Clokill. Okay, so we're starting to guess the movie, the space movie that had the Fifth Avenue candy bar. It's not. SpaceX is a company, so no. Josh Benware said Lost in Space. No. Zed, and this is for a hoodie or a t-shirt, said Mars. No. Aberrant. E.T. No. Kung Fu Action Grip said Space Camp. No. Chris Schreiner, this is a tough one. I thought you guys would get it. Said Men in Black, no. Lance Morrison, you won 2 t-shirts or hoodies today. It is completely Stargate the movie. They land on the other planet and they're interacting with the foreigners, and they give him the Fifth Avenue candy bar, and the old man's like, Bonnie Way. So yeah, there you have it. Bonnie Way, right? Whatever. So it is definitely Stargate the movie. So Lance, you get 2. You get a big Halloween. I think he's saying Bonnie Way. Go Bonnie Way. All right, Kevin Cross, Stargate Command. No, Stargate the movie. Aberrant 69. Aberrant definitely has a fever. He's just tossing out random things about Dixon 69. Interstellar. No, sorry. Zend. Hello. It's not that either. Sorry, Alvaro, you were close. You just came in second. Merhaba. Hello? Stargate. Yeah, some of you guys started to pick up on it. All right, let's keep the show rolling. Do you think using the neutral grip on the multi-grip barbell increases barbell bench max? I think it's better on the shoulders. I'm not against using the neutral grip at all. And it's definitely going to help increase your pressing strength. I would say it's a good complement of dumbbell bench, and I would definitely say it's going to increase your bench max. If you get that super strong, it's going to be slightly different, right, with the elbow position, how you're pressing, but it's going to help create a bigger bench. Cloak Hill, after 7 to 10 sets of chest in one session, I feel I'm not getting any more out of it. Can I stop after 7? No. I would look at your exercise selection. You need to do a little bit more volume. Maybe you need to move on to, but like my guys, after they do anybody on a body part split, they might be doing a dips and push-ups superset. I make sure they get something out of it. So I would say no. I'm not trying to be hard to get along with, but I think we probably need to look at your exercise selection. And if you're like, I just feel gassed, well, if you feel gassed during a workout, whether you're doing a body part split or a full body or whatever, doesn't matter. You got to work on your work capacity. You might feel like you're not getting enough out of it, but you got to keep pushing. Work capacity is a big component of hypertrophy. Ronnie Coleman claims he went pro natural. If so, doesn't he debunk? No. No. Ronnie, no one's ever. One guy claiming doesn't debunk. There's been studies on this of hundreds and hundreds of natural champions. Anybody that says they're like genetically gifted and can exceed these things by 10 to 15 pounds is simply full of shit. So that's as straightforward as I can get. Power builder, your thoughts on occasional super slow training to build muscle? Nah. I've tried it. I don't like it. I would say it's okay to do 1 or 2 sets of workout super slow. I think it can be an okay training tool, but I find it beats up the joints a little bit. I'm not against it. I'm just not against it as a primary. Maybe one drop set, like you're doing bench and you get a couple 2-3 sets in, and then maybe we do a super slow set, right, to cap it off. Drop the weight. Your central nervous system's already going to be rocking, right? So drop the weight a little bit and maybe do it slow. So maybe 1 set per exercise. Not as a staple, though. Matthew, my right arm doesn't go to lockout. No problems. I've trained Special Olympians with issues like this. I've trained athletes with issues like this. I have a client right now that has no front delt on one side. And a little bit awkward, but as long as you feel okay, just keep progressing. You'll be fine. Power builder, do you have a favorite body part day? Back. Definitely back. I just like back. I just like training back. I kind of like them all except for legs. I like chest day. I like shoulder day. But it's kind of like, a small degree. I just like back day a little bit more. LKJ at 2. Are your triceps upper trap development attained naturally with average genetics? Don't think of genetics. Like genetics are such a bad, like if you want to talk about genetics, I had poor genetics based on all the criteria. I had small bone size, which is usually not an indicator for strength. Usually larger bone sizes is equated with good genetics for strength. There's different degrees of genetics. How you're like, if you look at my biceps, if I flex up in a bicep pose, it looks like a potato. Awful genetics, right? But if I put my arms at my side straight down and I move my arms a certain way, I have long biceps and they look super impressive in that position. So some of it can just be, the magic of bodybuilding. But like a lot of times, if I'm doing the trap thing for a photo, I'm gonna position them a certain way so you can see them better. And triceps, triceps. I will give that to you. My triceps are like, my triceps give the illusion that my arms are 20 inches, but my arms really aren't that big. Pound for pound, at the same body weight, I would say Jeffrey Verity Schofield's arms are probably bigger than mine. But when you look at my triceps pumped, they look like they're crushing Schofield. So I don't like to worry about all that stuff. It's all like guessing games and hypotheticals. You can get pretty damn big and you can get pretty impressive. There are going to be some people that have weak body parts. Like Mark Lobliner, who I used to work with at Tiger Fitness, just ugly looking triceps. Just ugly looking triceps. Sometimes you're going to have a body part like that, right? So hard to say which one until you get under the iron. Harut, what's your rule of thumb of pounds inch difference when comparing two guys who look proportionally the same? Here's the general rule you guys can use. So for every inch taller or shorter, you adjust 4 to 5 pounds. So for every inch the body has, and don't get excited, right? For every inch, you're gonna have blood, you're gonna have bones, you're gonna have connective tissue, you're gonna have organ, like you have extra stuff, right? To be like John Madden, you have extra stuff. So for every inch you are taller or shorter, you're gonna have 4 to 5 pounds of extra stuff. 4 to 5 pounds more, 4 to 5 pounds less. So if my natural potential at 5'10" is 178 lean body mass without fat, at 5'11", you'd add 4 to 5 pounds. Does that make sense? Power builder, your thoughts on occasionally? No, we already did that one. Sorry. You recommend bulking for 10 months of the year, followed by short mini cuts. That's not how I do it, though. But I've heard that you need maintenance phases. That's not how I do it. In my book, Massive Bulking, and you can check that out, just search bulking. We do 3 to 4 month spurts of training, and then if things are going okay, we can extend it another month or two, and then we do a mini cut. So generally it's 3 to 4 months of hard training, and then we do a little bit of a break to do a mini cut. We let our stuff heal a little bit. We lose like 10 quick pounds, then we get back at it. So while you are bulking 10 months out of the year, you're doing 3 to 4 months on, 2 to 3 weeks off, 3 to 4 months on, 2 to 3 weeks off. So not only are you doing a mini cut, but you're kind of taking a mental and physical break from bulking. That's probably the best way, in my opinion, the best way I know of right now. Super Merc, what's your advice for someone going back to college to graduate and earn a degree? I'm thinking about going back. Make sure you got your study habits down, right? My first year and a half in college, all I cared about was lifting. So lifting was a priority. When I went back into college, when I enrolled in classes again a little bit later in life, as soon as I was done out of classes, I would go do my homework. I would get it done immediately. So I would have the rest of the day to dick-daw around. So that's my best advice. Good study habits. I can't. You got to study when you're fresh, and you got to have good study habits. Get it done early and often. Soy sauce banana warned. I forgot what we were talking about. Sorry. Is that a movie? Regardless of form, all extensions hurt elbows. So as a finisher or tricep kickbacks. Sometimes I advocate, tricep kickbacks in the bulldozer type of thing. One of the things you find with extensions is people try to lock their elbows in here, right? Or at their side, like some sort of a robot. Allow those elbows to naturally flow on a extension. Allow them to naturally move. That'll tend to put less stress on the elbows. Rico, I've never been injured or had overuse problems when running a bro split compared to the other splits, but that's just my experience. And, it's what Josh Megaroyd's Benware talked about earlier. There could be something to that. There really could be something to that. And it's a question I've never considered before. So, and a lot of people don't like bro splits. I get it. And this isn't a debate about bro splits, but I've never had overuse injuries, and I never really get injuries on bro splits. So whether you like them or think they're inefficient, there could be something to the fact when you're training once a week that you get more recovery time. Barbell hits my knees when I deadlift. I would get a form video from the side and send it to me on Instagram. Upload it on YouTube if you can unlisted so I can rewatch it. And send me the video. I'd be happy to take a look. Soy sauce nanner. I feel my lats the day after pull-ups, not so much when I do them. That's good. That's good. That's probably a good thing. Means they're working, but you don't have to focus on that mind muscle. Aberrant meant Discord. Oh, okay, Discord. I get it. Anybody watching, Discord is where our Team Massive group is right now. Z-End. Can I fit 2 high volume back sessions in a week? I wouldn't do it at all. I don't recommend that. Look at overall weekly volume. Okay. And if you're going more than 15 or 16 sets for back, probably not needed. Power Builder, figure eight straps or VersaGrips. VersaGrip Pros, 152,000.87%. VersaGrip Pros, mine are over 15 years. They just keep going. They last forever. And on a per year basis, cost you about $5. You can lock them in with and even relax your grip. So I'm a huge fan. C-sips. Also, every set I do is rest pause. For example, pull-ups, 23, rest. That's fine. That's more block style training. And I'm not against that at all. Big fan of that, actually. And especially on exercises like pull-ups where it's harder to add a rep. All right, guys, we've got about 10 questions left. Keep your questions coming. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. If not, I'm going to jump ship after the 10 questions are done. So consider this your last call. Big, hairy, ugly dude, I got your mass PR and love it. PDF. I don't think I have a glute ham machine in my gym, nor a hack squat. Okay, the back extension, which is not the same. On the back extension, you can do a glute ham raise, okay? So I would search and just see if you can do this. Glute ham on a back extension. Basically, you're going to fold down, and then you're going to come up, and this is your knees. And on your knees, you're going to raise when you come up, you're going to raise up on your knees and get your torso upright. If you can do that, great. RDLs, you can definitely do RDLs. You can do barbell. You can do dumbbell RDLs. So that's definitely something you could do as well. For hack squats, can you do squats? Can you do leg press? Can you do leg extensions? Can you do lunges? Can you do Bulgarian split squats? A lot of good options for legs. So even if, I don't know if you have a pendulum squat or whatever, but a lot of good options for legs. So if you don't have a hack, you can DM me on Instagram if you need more specific advice for any of these questions. If I'm not completely getting it, you guys can hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman. MG254, thoughts on TRT for men over 40, but from a clinic and not some random dude. Yeah, don't do the random dude thing, okay? I've worked with people that have used the random dude. One lost a chunk out of his leg because of bad oils. Like, you don't know when it's some basement gym how bad their oil is or their chemical process, or if you're over 40, everybody's like, cheater, he's a cheater. Like, the dude's over 40, man, leave him alone. You're not trying, if you're just doing it for health, I have nothing against it. We need to be able to separate real TRT for health from he's a cheater. That's just juvenile horseshit, right? There needs to be some nuance in the discussion. Men over 40, if you're, by all means, get your testosterone checked. Talk to a doctor about it. This is a wise thing to do. And I'm not a blanket advocate for everybody rushing out sticking needles in their bumpers, but being aware of your health is a good thing. And if your testosterone's a little bit low, a little bit of bump you need from a legit clinic, then go for it. Ronnie also claimed to be 33.3. Yeah, Ronnie's an all right dude. Yeah, but Ronnie is Ronnie, right? I trained with Ronnie. I've met Ronnie many times, interacted with his people. I like Ronnie, but he didn't break he wasn't any bigger than any other natural in history. Normally I listen with headphones in, but today I had my speaker with my little girls in the next room as you started to drop the F-bombs and swinging dick story. Sorry, man. sorry. I try to do it less on live. I really do. And, it's just, I apologize. I just advocate anybody. There's always a potential for, it's a live video. A lot of things can go crazy. So just kind of use your discretion and be careful who's around. Yeah. I'm sorry for the swinging dick story. I just think it was funny, so when do you hit that point in training when you should start to consider a cut? Well, when your body weight's too high, When you're looking in the mirror, like, what is that thing I'm looking at? Then it's probably time to consider a little bit of a cut. And if you feel you need a program change, it's probably a good idea to probably do a mini cut and then fire up a new program when you're headed into a bulk again. Does that make sense? Clokill, you said in the long term frequency doesn't matter, so I can train a muscle. Reasonable. We need to be reasonable. I wouldn't do 8 to 9 days. 8 days probably okay. But from what I've seen, once lifters get to about 10 days, you tend to see connective tissue weaken a little bit faster than muscles. That's just my bro science experience with training people. And there's certain lifts you need a connection with, like squats, that we can kind of tend to get sloppy. I would say every 8 days is okay, like every other day on like if you did a bro split and you worked out every other day, 8 days would kind of be my max. And that's just my opinion. Josh Megaroids, my back only gets sore when I'm sick. When you're sick. Should I get sick more? I would just have more sex, Josh. More sex and jalapenos. Can I send you my deadlift? Yep. If you're on Discord, absolutely. I have a form critique on Discord, on my Discord group, Team Massive. Any fitness challenges coming up before Christmas? On the Team Massive one, we have a push-up one right now. So yeah, we're gonna have some challenges. November is a hard month for challenges because in America we have Thanksgiving and people tend to mega bulk from Thanksgiving to the New Year. On the new team group starting in January, we're going to have weekly challenges and we're going to have monthly challenges. So we're going to up the challenge game. All right, guys, last call, last question. Get your questions in now. Can you speak to velocity-based training? Don't care. I'm not being dismissive, but I train what I train and do what I do and like what I like, and that's what I believe in, and so on and so forth. How rare is it to crush first-year training like you did? I would say pretty rare. And I'm no genius, no expert, no wizard. I think I just got lucky. I had a mentor, and he helped me put together a good program. So my mentor immediately taught me a few things. And these were little things, but they made a big difference. Like my mentor, and regardless of what you think of this structure that he gave me is far better than anything I could have created on my own. My mentor said, and I want you to hear this out a little bit. Take a big lift and do 2 sets of 4 to 6 reps. Hear me out. I'm going to expound on this a little bit. Hang with it. Take a big lift and do 2 sets of 4 to 6 reps. Take a less, still a compoundy, more intense lift, but less intense than the initial for 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Then do a more isolation style for the same body part for 2 sets of 12 to 15. So what he basically did was he got me on the bench press, 2 sets of 4 to 6, the dumbbell bench, 2 sets of 8 to 12, the pec deck, 2 sets of 12 to 15, and then I started adding in volume. So it could be 2 to 3 sets, right, for the bench. It could be 2 to 3 for the assistance work, like the dumbbell bench. So basically, I built that out. I used that base structure to create like a 10 to 12 rep protocol, which became the Power Muscle Block, Power Muscle Burn system. That thing has, I think, 10 million reads, and over 5,000 comments. That's been the most ridiculously successful program I've ever put together. But regardless of that specific program, my mentor gave me something reasonable. This was in 1986, and it focused me. Now, I pieced that together with my focus on plus ones, right? because I wanted to improve over last time. I was a math nerd. I write my stuff down in my little handy dandy notebook. This was 1986. We didn't have the worldwide interwebs. And like last time I did 6 on bench, this time I want to do 7. So that's what I did. I focused on plus ones and I had this basic structure. And with that, those 2 things in place, I slept like a freak, not because somebody told me to, but because I could and wanted to. I ate like a freak because I was at a school cafeteria that was like buffet style, eating everything. I slept like a freak, ate like a freak, rested like a freak, and I was consistent like a freak. And I had a good training structure in place and a focus on plus ones, and I grew like a weed. So about a year into my progress, I had somebody else come to me, a skinnier dude. And he's like, man, what can I do? And I put him on the same program I had, and I told him to eat all he could. This was in 86, so he didn't fear the bulk. Dude packed on like 20 pounds in like a year and just looked amazing. Added a lot of muscle. So I think it can be done. You have to be open and willing to the process. And to a degree, you might need to kind of open your mind a little bit and set aside some of your bias and just relax and train and eat and sleep and train and eat and sleep. But yeah, it's pretty rare. A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on, and then when they get confused, they start to do a lot of different things. Experiment and read too many articles. It's really rather simple. It's not easy to execute, but it's simple. MG254, does your supplement company have a pre-workout? I have a massive iron supplement company. You can find it just SUPP. I'm not in the game to be a supplement company. I just offer whey protein and creatine. I make a couple bucks per jug, and I'm not trying to make a big profit off of it. The salty caramel is a great tasting protein powder. So is a chocolate. I might be adding a few more products, but you guys can check it out. If you want to support me instead of big supplements, go right ahead. What's your thoughts on calf training? Where I would start is attacking the soleus with seated calf raises. And I wish I could talk more about little things like this on YouTube, but whenever you talk about calves, you get like 3 views, right? So the soleus, start with a seated raise. And the calves, like the traps, have a limited range of motion. So we don't want to be chained to time under tension. But if you don't have a reasonable time under tension for a movement, you're probably not getting enough quality work in. So we want to encourage tension on the calves. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 on the seated calf raise. We're going to do 2 to 3 seconds up, a little bit of a hold, and 2 to 3 seconds down. We're going to do that for 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12. Start there and progressively overload and report back. Aberrant, who wins in an Anchorman style gang fight? Bodybuilders, powerlifters, or easily powerlifters? Those sons of bitches, like in my experience, tattoos, guns, recklessness, recreational drugs. There's no way. Like better, more athletic. Like Eric Lillibridge versus Phil Heath, I'm taking Eric Lillibridge all day long. The CrossFitters could probably hold their own. I don't know. I don't follow CrossFit, so. Harut, any popular rock metal bands people love, but you can't stand? Usually I keep metal on when I'm lifting. And I'll tell you, one band I could never really stand over the years was Megadeth. I don't care. I just don't like Megadeth. I don't. I can understand the appeal, but I've bought a couple of their albums over the years, but I'm always fast forwarding Megadeth. Philly Boy Fitness, is 3,000 calories enough? It all depends on what the scale is doing. So you never know, whatever calorie level you have, it all depends on what the scale is doing. If the scale's not moving, then it's not enough. If the scale is moving, then it's enough. Chloe Kill, thank you for answering your questions. Thank you. Most other fitness influencers charge and give worse advice. That's a great compliment. I thank you guys, and I sincerely appreciate it. That's about it, guys. We had a really good live today, and I hope you guys come back next time. I really do. This was one of the best lives we've had in a while. A great selection of questions, a lot of new people, just awesome. So I can't thank you enough. It made my birthday weekend. It really did. And I might not be the prettiest, and I might not be the most abtastic, but man, I'm going to fight my fucking ass off to give you guys the best, no bullshit information. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Come back next Friday. Follow me on Instagram. Head over to my website. Buy you a t-shirt. Give me a couple bucks. And we are out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.